Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Today is a video like I've really never posted before, but I might do more depending how you like them. I'm going to give you the top 10 comic book based movies to look forward to in 2021. First and most recent to be released on this list is The King's Man. Now, this is the third film in the series, and the first two were really comical in the type of action that they've done. And the premise is there's an organization based out of England that works to stop man-made catastrophes, as we've seen in the first two films. But this one is more of an origin story, and it tells us how it all started right around the time of World War I. It's something that I really look forward to, and I'll definitely be watching it, probably in the theaters, when it comes out on 12 March. The next on the list is Black Widow. We all know the story of Natasha Romanoff, who's in the Avengers, played by Scarlett Johansson. This film is supposed to focus on her story of what happens to her and with her in between the events of Civil War and Infinity War. We see a lot of characters that we haven't really seen before, like Red Guardian, who's essentially supposed to be the Soviet Union's form of Captain America. And then the villain Taskmaster. Really interesting villain in the comic books. I think it should pan out to be a really good movie. I hope so. We've been waiting for it for over a year, and it releases on 7 May. The third movie on the list is Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Now, this is the sequel to Tom Hardy's original Venom movie. When that one was released, I was a little skeptical because how Sony dealt with Venom in Spider-Man 3. I was a little disappointed by that. But Tom Hardy's Venom was actually pretty decent, and I really liked how they did the symbiotes in that movie. In the post-credit scene, they teased Woody Harrelson playing Cletus Cassidy, who's the person affiliated with Carnage. An amazing villain, and I hope it is everything that I want it to be. The Venom sequel is releasing on 25 June. Number 4, we have Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Now, I really don't know much about the comic book itself or the character, but I'm excited that it includes the 10 rings, which is a big hint at the Mandarin. Not the Mandarin that we saw in Iron Man 3, because that was crappy, but the real Mandarin, who's a really amazing type villain, all sorts of magical and elemental type powers. I hope it kind of brings that to the forefront. I'm excited to see it. It's a Marvel movie, and they're generally really good. Shang-Chi is set to release 9 July. Number 5, The Suicide Squad. I know. It's a DC movie, so expectations should be a little bit low. But this movie has two things really going for it. The cast is amazing. There really are too many A-list celebrities to name in this video because the list is exhaustive. Look it up on IMDb if you're really interested to see who's going to be playing in this film. The one thing I'm really looking forward to over this cast is the director, James Gunn. He did amazing with Guardians of the Galaxy, and when he was released from that franchise for a temporary period of time, he switched over to direct Suicide Squad. I'm really looking forward to it. I've got a lot of hope that James Gunn can bring his magic, and it releases on 6 August. Number 6, Morbius. This film suffered the same fate as Black Widow, being pushed back a year or so. Jared Leto is helming the cast as the titular character, Dr. Michael Morbius, the living vampire. The premise is that he was a doctor with a rare blood condition, and he was trying to find a cure. And in that, he became a vampire. This film is a part of the larger Spider-Man network. Michael Keaton, the Vulture from the newest Spider-Man series, is supposed to cameo and be in the movie. I'm not sure how big of a part, but he's there. I'm hoping that Sony keeps on getting these movies right with the help of Marvel. But it's set to release on 8 October. Number 7 is one that you wouldn't normally expect. Snake Eyes, a G.I. Joe origin story. Now, believe it or not, G.I. Joe was a comic book. Also a cartoon, but it has a lot of Orgins. The G.I. Joe movies have been pretty campy and not amazing productions, but they've been a little bit entertaining as far as their action sequences go. And pretty much every little boy that grew up in the 80s, Snake Eyes was their favorite character. So I'm looking forward to it. I'll watch it. It's not the most highly anticipated on this list, but it made the list. Number 8 is The Eternals. This is another movie with a huge star-studded casting, done wholly by Marvel Studios, and it is supposed to be the new way that the Marvel Cinematic Universe is going. I am not super familiar with The Eternals, but just with the casting alone, I'm pretty excited for it. The movie is set to release on 5 November. Number 9 on the list is the yet unnamed Spider-Man movie that's currently still in production. Marvel has locked in a date, and it's expected to be done by that time. Hopefully, we hear more confirmed details as we're moving on, but so far, a lot of the word on the streets is that this is going to be more like a Spider-Verse type of film. And what that is that's bringing in all the different Spider-Men that are in the multi-universe realms, right? And it's bringing them all into one universe, and they're all going to interact, they're all going to talk. Supposedly, Tobey Maguire is going to be in the film, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland. So all three of the Spider-Mans are going to be in the same film as the same Spider-Man, but different Spider-Mans. Either way, it should be a interesting watch on 17 December. Now, the last on the list was a little difficult to choose because while it wasn't originally a comic book was set to release at the time of its first iteration movie back in 1999. The movie I'm talking about is The Matrix 4. I'm hoping that the trilogy can be revitalized with this fourth installation, or at least capped off correctly, and hopefully overshadow Matrix 3. It wasn't very good. But I'm hoping that this one will bring it back and complete the story. All of the same cast members are coming back, supposedly, but it's set to release on 22 December. But that's it for my list. Remember that I am doing a giveaway right now. The link is in the description. Complete all the tasks, get all the entries you can, because this contest ends on 28 February, where a winner will be drawn. Also, if you could do me a favor, hit that like, hit the subscribe, bell for notifications, and comment as to which movie you're most excited for. But now that you've done all that, and until later, stay classy.